Hi guys, welcome back to Trailblazers with yours truly, Israel,
And my name is Matthew.
in this episode we're going to be exploring an event we did this weekend called Getaway.
Yeah, so Getaway is a middle school event for kids just to be able to come worship the Lord, learn about Christ. And yeah, it's kind of like a CIY summer camp type thing just over the weekend here at our school.
They come in, they do worship, they have a pastoral moment, and then they do breakout groups, small group times. They were also fed Chick-fil-A, which thank goodness because I was hungry. So with Getaway, how was setup for you?
Yeah, so setup, we started on Thursday with our main setup. We had brought all the equipment down from our chapel down into the multipurpose building the day before. So setup, we just started 8 a.m. that day, setting up stage extension pieces, setting up an LED wall, building a lighting rig, flying lights on a truss.
That was so cool. Just not having to set up the truss for those lights.
Yeah, so
oh
it's
my
a
gosh,
lot better.
It saved so much time.
Yeah. So yeah, we main thing that I worked on was audio stuff, but then I also help with LED wall building to an extent. So that LED walls are always fun. I enjoy working with those because you get to like build different size walls, different things like that. Wire those, make sure they all work right, and yeah, make sure there's a good event.
The entire time Matthew was overseeing all of those LED walls, I had the luck to build the stage extensions, which if you haven't seen, they are 4 by 6, 4 by 8. Yeah, they're 4 by 8 giant metal platforms that weigh over 100 pounds each that we carted from behind the bleachers all the way to the front of our makeshift stage. And there was 8 of those and a couple corner pieces that me and my buddy Logan and we had a couple other people help that I can't remember off the top of my head right now, but
Nice.
It was pretty heavy.
Yeah, I know I can't lift stuff like that, so I try to avoid working with those stage pieces as much as possible. So yeah, thank you for what you do with that. So.
No, thank you.
Yeah, so we had a lot of people helping us with that setup. Some of them I'm pretty sure were like new and hadn't really done much with like production before. How do you like normally approach like working with those people and like telling them like, hey, here's what you need to do and stuff like that?
Wow, that's a really good question. Let me think. Most of the times it involves a lot of patience because they don't understand what you're talking to them if you use a bunch of lingo like what the heck is a SDI cable or PowerCon or any of that you need for putting together like I don't know cameras or LED wall or something like that you would normally see on a higher budget, I would say. Because an LED wall is expensive. Let's be real. It's expensive. But yeah, since I was only messing around with the lighting and stage extensions, I had to explain to them in the most loving and endearing way possible that we need to put these stinking extensions onto a cable box because you do not want to carry it the entire way over.
You don't want to just like just lift it up and carry it? Like
do you?
No, I know I can't.
Oh, I know. If they wanted to do it that way, I'd let them and then hope that they learned.
Yeah.
There was also a couple people that I doubt had ever messed with lighting, for instance. And so the best way that I found to teach them is just by showing them how to do it and watching as they do it. Like we were running PowerCon and DMX, and Gabe our boss told us how he wanted it run, and I knew how he wanted it run. So I was like, hey guys, come over here for a second. Me and Soph, who is awesome on lighting. She did it for the Getaway. Fantastic. It looked great. Quick shout out. Sorry. We ran the DMX first. I can't remember. We ran DMX first. We daisy chained it all the way how we wanted it. But me and Soph did the first 2. And then we showed the other people who were on lighting how to do it. And they did it. They did great. And if they were to do it wrong, I would have showed them. But they didn't. It was great. So, how would you have done that? Like with since you said you were overseeing LED wall, how did you go about that?
Yeah, so with the LED wall, The hardest part with the LED wall is usually just making sure all the legs that like hold the LED wall up are leveled. So
Mm-hmm.
after getting those leveled, usually like starting to build that first layer of panels, showing people how to kind of do that, but also like really helping them with that portion because
Yeah.
if that portion's not level to the wall, the rest of it can like be really wonky
So it's a
going up.
balancing
Yeah,
game.
it's a balancing game. So
Hmm.
once that part's done, I kind of usually just let them have free reign
Yeah.
and just start just supervising and
Yeah.
ask if they need help. They can ask. I'm there. So
Right.
yeah, just stuff like that.
Yeah.
Once the wall is built, then it's the wiring and cabling, so like signal and power for the whole wall, and that part is sometimes a little more challenging depending on how large the wall is and how you have to run the signal and power. So just once they finish building the wall, showing them how to start building that and plugging in all those cables and then letting them go at it. So yeah,
So a huge part of all this is just letting them know you're aware.
yeah.
Like if they have questions, just come ask.
Yeah, showing them how to do it,
Yeah.
letting them do it, watching them, seeing if they need help, basically, yeah. So after our like main setup was done, we just started testing stuff, making sure everything worked. Plugged in the like final power to the wall, turned that on, made sure that worked. And then I was mainly in charge of live stream after that point. So we went up, started checking mics, make sure all those worked on front of house as well as the live stream soundboards. And after that, we were basically done for the day. We had a couple rehearsals that we did, make sure everything worked right.
Yeah.
And then the event started the next day. So got to sleep that night, go to classes in the morning, and then at 1:30 in the afternoon, all came back and started getting ready.
Hmm. Yeah. I kind of did the same thing. I was on Pro Prisoner, which let me tell you is not my favorite thing to do. I got all of the slides done that Tuesday before we did
Nice.
setup
So
and
planning
stuff.
ahead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bunch
Okay.
of planning ahead. Although it kind of bit me in the butt when we went to move it all because after we had it all plugged in and we were doing rehearsals, I realized, oh hey, it didn't save any of my arrangements that I had made, and it come to find out it had messed up a couple of where the lyrics go in the
Oh,
chorus.
weird.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So I didn't catch that actually until the event started because we didn't really do full run through of any of the songs. We kind of just we did intro, outro type thing transitions.
Okay.
And I was like, well, shoot, this is unfortunate. But I kind of just clicked on what I knew was going to happen once I found it. Didn't have enough time to change it though until that night. But yeah, I kind of, going with the flow, just making sure you're adaptable.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
it's a huge part of everything we do here.
Yeah, so for me with that, I said I was on live stream. Basically, live stream was only for the sensory room that we had. So like people who don't like all the loud noises that we might have in the actual room, they can go off into another room and watch the event going on a TV. So I was just running sound for that. I was playing with my approach for how I mix that more. So like putting a
Yeah.
lot more like crowd mics in it. So like trying to help like push the like I'm still here in person basically aspect of it versus like just watching on a live stream. So just kind of messing around with stuff like
And
that.
how do you
So,
think that worked?
um, I think it worked well.
Yeah.
So I haven't heard any complaints from anyone. So
That's that's rare. That hey, when you don't hear a complaint, that means you
mm,
did something
something right.
really, really well.
Yeah, something.
Or
So
they were just middle schoolers who didn't know what they were doing.
oh, yeah. I never saw any of the kids that were in there, so you never know. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that's fair. Yeah, we had after our Friday service, we had 2 Saturday services, which I was supposed to be there at 7:45.
7:45 in the morning. Yep,
Oh, isn't
nice
that
and early.
so fun? Where we did line checks where we basically just made sure all of our audio equipment was working great and that Pro was ready. Me wasn't. It was so early in the morning, my brain was not working. But with the help of coffee beans covered in chocolate, I was somewhat awake.
Nice.
How are you that early in the morning?
Well, I was pretty functional. I had a good night's sleep the night before. I didn't have to stay up too late for the event. So yeah, woke up, got over there, made sure my live stream stuff worked, checked mics with Logan, who was on front of house for sound check. And then we ran our first service of the day. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my. Yeah, and that's first service was really, really good. They
Yeah.
oh, we did we did all of that. And we did, and then we went to our breakout groups, which I was stuck in the MPB with one of our profs, Aaron Wheeler, who led a wonderful thing on faith and how we can evangelize to people around us by noticing things like what they're wearing, or yeah, basically it was what they wear and how our faith and how through our faith that they see we can gain their trust, and then that trust can lead to big testimony, which is like your entire life story, and little testimony like how you doing today type thing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was in charge of heading up to the chapel, making sure that there was a mic set up for the speaker Karin up there. Made sure lights were turned on. It was a pretty simple event. We had two
Yeah.
different rotations of kids, so got to hear the same thing twice. So yeah, went well. Turned off stuff after that happened. Went back down to lunch with Chick-fil-A sandwiches.
Thank
Shout
the
out Chick-fil-A.
Lord. Oh,
Oh yeah.
I believe we had a little bit of a 20-minute break in between the session and lunch.
Yes.
Yeah, so kind of just chilled out for those 20 minutes. I scrolled on YouTube for a little bit, kind of just refreshing my brain
Didn't
before
socialize or anything. Just scrolled on YouTube. Yeah.
I socialized a little
Okay.
bit, messed around with you and I think it was Sophie, yeah,
Yeah.
and
nice.
Ian.
Okay.
Ian,
Yeah.
he got picked on a little bit, but nothing he didn't deserve. And after socializing a little bit and scrolling on YouTube a bit, we ran into our third and final service, which was a lot of really upbeat songs. The kids got a lot out, like they were up and they were enjoying it. They all went to the front for just praising the Lord. And then our speaker came out for one final time, delivered a wonderful message that I don't remember what it was on about because I've slept since then. And after that they went into group time.
Nice. Yeah. Let's see. After group time, I think we had like a little short, kind of mini session, I guess, where we had a couple worship songs just to wrap up the weekend there.
Yeah.
The speaker came out, host came out, just had some parting words to everyone, and then we had our fun. So what do we do with that?
Oh yeah, this is the part of every event that is either really starts out really fun and ends kind of in a downward slope. It is called tear down, and in the MPB, it's pretty simple. We start with the stage first and make sure all the kids are gone. We everybody kind of splits off into their own area of expertise, sort of, and do what they do best. I went back to the stage and got that down as quick as I could. We carted it off, put it back. I actually organized it really well, so when we do
Hey.
the event,
Nice.
it's gonna be so easy to grab.
Okay.
And then we assist each other in whatever needs done. Like after a stage, I'm pretty sure I went to tear down lighting, and then LED wall, or vice versa. I don't remember.
Nice. Yeah. So I started with audio. We started taking apart the drum set, unplugging all the mics from that, getting those drums off stage, working on the rest of the instruments that once the band had taken those off, we were able to unplug everything else. We finished that up pretty quick, wrapped up those cables, put them back away in cases, and then I started on the LED wall with a couple people. So I started unplugging all those cables on the back of the wall,
There's a ton of them.
organizing those, putting them back in the boxes. And then we got a ladder and started taking down the LED wall, putting those away. And then at that point, basically, yeah, we just had lighting that we had to finish up, a few
Yeah.
other things up at front of house and control areas. And then we started moving stuff back up to the chapel.
Yeah.
So what did that look like for you?
It was a lot of Tetris. First, we had to put all the lights and stuff in the back of the van because they can't go in the trailer.
Mm.
They're way too fragile for that and expensive. Then we put the hog in the a couple of the computers back there. Then we filled up the back of the trailer with all of the drum equipment and a couple of other things that I can't remember. Then the van was pretty much full, and we had to take a drive up to the top where we unloaded everything, put it all where it goes. And while I was putting everything, helping put everything where it goes, another group of our team went down and started loading up that other thing. Were you down there by chance?
Yes, so I went back down after we got everything up there and unloaded from the trailer. We headed back down, started loading up LED wall cases.
Yeah.
Just all the big things, double stacked LED cases, shoved them in the back of the trailer.
Those things are so heavy.
They're pretty heavy, yeah. But they have wheels, so not as heavy as those stage pieces you had to move. So
Yeah, we use the LED boxes for those.
yeah, that's smart.
It's so heavy.
Yeah, so strapped those down with ratchet shafts inside of the trailer, loaded in as much as we could basically into that trailer, took it back up and started unloading it and then rolling those cases in. And then we started working on building those side LED walls again.
Oh, goody. That was an adventure, wasn't it, Matthew?
That was an adventure. Yeah. So we started building the LED walls. I had 2 teams, one working on each side of the chapel building those walls. They were supposed to be 7 panels wide by 4 panels high on each side. And no one apparently can count. And when I mean no one, I mean me specifically. Yeah, math's not my
Me
strong
neither.
suit. That's why I went to this school.
That's why we're here.
Yeah. So yeah, can't count. One side I had them do 7 panels wide. The other side I accidentally had them do 6 panels wide. So after that, we wired in. We didn't realize that at the time, so we wired in everything, turned it on, and we realized that the signal wasn't. It didn't look correctly based on the arrangement of the panels compared to what it should. So we were trying to figure out what was going on with that. I relooked at the configuration on the computer for the LED wall processor, looked at the wiring on the back of the panels, and everything looked fine, but just something wasn't working with it. So I finally looked at it and counted the panels, and I'm like, oh, there's a difference in the panel width on these sides. So at that point, basically everyone had gone. So it was just me and Jonah Garaki, just tearing down that one side of the wall and adding a panel, spreading out those legs that were supporting it, and then building that wall back up. It really didn't take us that long. It was like maybe 30, 45 minutes.
That's not
so
that bad.
It really wasn't that bad.
That's pretty nice, actually.
Yeah. So we did have a dinner break in between. So we figured out we had to take the whole thing down, stopped, went to dinner, and then came back. So it really wasn't that bad. So LED walls, LED walls in that setup when it's just a standard wall, it doesn't take that long to build.
It's just plug and play and figuring out what works with what you have. Yeah, I don't know. After they came up with that second crate, we got to work on. We finished putting away all the boxes for the cameras that we had set up and everything. We plugged in the hog, made sure it was booted. And then me and Soph went to town on setting up the lights on our trust, which, oh my gosh. When you have come off like 25 hours of that much work, doing any sort of plug in and remembering how stuff goes is so hard. Like I was in the middle of a brain fart the whole time.
Yeah, when you're on the clock for that amount of time and you're just exhausted at that point, trying to think sometimes doesn't go well. So how would you kind of like approach that balance of like making sure you have enough like rest to be able to like think correctly and everything when you have these bigger events?
Yeah. So to answer your question, Matthew, I would make sure that I got enough sleep. So like after first session was done, I went to bed pretty early, 10 o'clock.
Yeah. Nice.
So that I could wake up early enough to get there. And then throughout the day, I was munching on coffee beans to, continue my getting energy. And I drank a ton of tea because I am not addicted. I can quit anytime I want to.
That's what they all say.
Definitely didn't go to HTO today and get 2 huges and a gallon.
That's a choice.
Hey, I only paid $4.75 for it all.
Hey, it's not bad.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
So rewards. Use rewards. Shout out
HTO if you want to sponsor
Shout
us.
out HTO. Yeah. Basically, it all came down to just having a bunch of rest. I would also, if given the opportunity, have taken a short break in between our setup because once we got the LED wall done, we went to lighting.
Yeah.
Which, well, actually during LED wall was lighting, and we had done a couple other things before that, and my brain was fried. I probably would have appreciated a break for food. I think I would have been able to function a bit better.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's just, I feel like sometimes in my experience seeing like when we do break, sometimes like people in the middle of a project, so then trying to get back into that project, it's a
Yeah.
challenge. So it's kind of hard sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do
No.
agree. So
I see where you're at, but that's also such a hard thing
Yeah.
to balance.
yeah,
Like,
it is.
how do you balance quitting in the middle of a project when you're so brain dead tired to eat, knowing that some of your people won't probably be coming back to help?
Yeah, that's true.
Hmm.
So.
I don't know. It's a little. That's just a personal opinion because I know I've heard from a couple of people that we work with that if we had taken a break they wouldn't have had the energy to come back because it's not uncommon for after those events for us to be extremely tired, even during setup or teardown. I mean, so how would you go about approaching not being extremely tired?
I just basically what you said, just making sure you get enough sleep.
Yeah.
Just keeping yourself healthy as much as possible. Just doing stuff like that, energy, food bars, snacks, drinking a lot of water. I did not do that. And I started getting headaches and stuff like that at one point. So just making sure
You got
just a little bit. It was like I could tell I was getting dehydrated. So yeah.
So as Jonah would say, drink more water.
Yes, drink more water.
So after I was told to clock out because we had finished setting up lights, or so we thought, what happened after?
At that point, I think it was just me, Jonah, Sophie, and Gabe that were still there working. Gabe and Sophie were working on lights. Jonah and I were finishing up the LED wall project that I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
So we had to repatch some digital fixtures and the lighting console. And those things needed to get repatched basically to the chapel setup. So Gabe and
because
Sophie,
we moved it to the MPB setup
yes,
for the event.
So we moved that down to the MPB for the event. So we had to bring
Getaway,
that
my
stuff
bad.
back for the event and Getaway.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah. The event is not the event. It is a event that is called the event.
Yes, you're right.
Yes.
My bad. Yeah, so you moved it, you rechanged all the fixtures,
So yes,
repatched them all.
They repatched all the cables or all the
light fixtures into the
You're the
hog.
lighting guy. You know better than I do.
So you repatched all the lights into the hog.
Yeah,
and
we repatched all the lighting fixtures into the hog, and then got those working. So
I heard
Jonah
they
and
weren't working today or Monday though, right?
Yeah, so the hog console didn't save what we did with that apparently. So Sunday when Alexis was trying to program lights for chapel on Tuesday, they wouldn't turn on basically.
That's so weird.
We had to figure out how to get that working again. Gabe was able to do it pretty quick. So
Good. He's super smart.
He is, yes. So yeah, the main thing Jonah and I did during that time was just working on just finishing up, putting away some of the stuff we had. We had a lot of cables still in trunks for like either power or DMX cables. So I had to make sure those were all wrapped and Velcroed. Side note, if you have Velcro, please use that Velcro and wrap the cables correctly and stuff like that.
L21s are not fun to wrap. And if you have to rewrap it, it's so annoying.
Yeah. So if you have a bunch of cables thrown into a trunk or something like that, it's such a pain. So
please don't use painter's tape either. It leaves a sticky residue on everything.
Yeah. So make sure your cables are wrapped. Wrap them nicely. You'll thank yourself later. So yeah, Jonah and I finished up those. We rearranged the storage closet up in the balcony that we store all those cases in. So had a lot more room in there to put all those cases back in.
Nice.
Just finished up that, put away DMX cables in our cable closet. And at that point, we were basically done. Gabe and Sophie were about to leave since they had figured out their lighting things. So we finished up cleaning up a couple more things for Monday, and then we were done for the day. So it was basically from like 7 a.m. until 10:30, on and off on the clock, but for the most part on the clock.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Because I was kind of on and off the same way you were, except I got to go home at like 8:30.
Yeah.
It was great, and then I went to Cane's,
Nice.
which, oh my goodness, hit the spot.
Yeah, Gabe, Sophie, Joan, and I went to Culver's at one point. We needed to take a break. We needed food at that point. It was like 8:30 or something like that in the night.
Wow.
So we went
You
to
went
go get
so long without food. I don't know how your brain functions
we don't know either. But yeah, we went to go get food. Came back energized. And
got it done.
Got it done.
Let's go. Want a break from the ads? Read the Bible. Hey, Matthew, you ever get tired of all those ads?
Every single day. But you know what? best thing is to get a break from those ads? Reading the Bible.
Whoa, exactly what I was thinking. No gimmicks, no hidden fees, just truth that cuts through all the distractions.
Whether you've got 50 minutes or 5 minutes, there's something you can do in the Bible. Opening scripture gives you rest from the endless scroll and endless noise.
And unlike every other thing fighting for your attention, the Bible isn't trying to sell you anything. It just points you to God.
So next time you want to skip the ads, just read the Bible instead.
Pew, pew,
Bam,
pew.
bam, bam, bam,
Pew,
bam,
pew,
bam.
pew. Pew, 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 pew.
Now let's get back to the conversation.
And dive right into what we were just talking about. So with our couple remaining minutes that we have, we have a musical coming up, and so what are you doing for that?
Yeah, so for Christmas Carol, what I'm doing this year is I am the main front of house audio engineer for that, as well as the sound designer. So working with all the tracks, making sure those are set up correctly, as well as any sound effects. I'll be building those and then handing that off to someone else to actually run it for the show. But just kind of since I'm there at front of house as well, just me understanding how those work and how those
Right.
interact with the rest of the show, just I feel like is really beneficial for me. Yeah. There's a lot of prep work for anything musical related. So usually what I do with that is like 2 or 3 months before we start checking mics, make sure all those work. We have over 20 mics that we use for that show. So making sure
Dang.
all those belt packs and headset mics for that work. So me and my awesome backstage manager, Logan Mayoris, work on those, check to make sure those all work, send out stuff for repair if we need to. And then we start working on what we call mic plot assignment. So we figure out who's in what scene and when, so that we can figure out when they need a mic.
Gotcha.
So that since we only have 20 mics and we have just about 30, 35
That's a lot of
people in the
people.
show with a lot of like moving lines and stuff like that, we need to figure out who's in what scene since we can't give everyone a mic individually. So we work on that. See who's in what scene. We use a awesome software called Theater Mix that
Yes,
works really
sir.
well to be able to like plot out everything. So we do that and just a lot of trial and error, figuring out who's in what scene, flipping stuff around if it doesn't work right, so that we
Right.
have the best possible backstage experience for all of our actors to be able to swap mics as easily as possible. So yeah, that's basically what I do leading up to the show. I might attend some of the like especially music rehearsals so that I can understand how each part is working and like what they're doing in the songs, just so I have a better understanding of how the whole show works. Yeah, this show is it's a lot of music, so a lot of people have seen or heard A Christmas Carol before.
Right.
It's basically all the music. Like even if there's someone speaking in it,
It's all
there's
underscored by music?
Yeah, there's all music underneath it. So there's
That's
a lot of timing stuff
That is a lot of
that we have to
timing.
get
It's
down
precision.
between tracks and then the actors and stuff. Some of the songs, the actor has to figure out what note they're singing before they even hear a track and hear what key they're in.
That is so hard.
There's some fun stuff in there. So, but we have some awesome actors that we have here. So just working with them has been great. So yeah, that's basically what I do leading up to the show. Once we get closer, we actually start working with the cast more, getting mics on
Right.
them, making sure those all sound good. And yeah, then we have the show in December. So yeah. So what do you do for Christmas Carol?
Well, I am the lead lighting designer for this entire shindig that we are doing. I honestly haven't looked into it yet because we're not close enough to warrant me using all of those hours. But once we get closer, I'm going to attend a lot of the rehearsals and run-throughs and take orders from Rochelle as to what she wants and in what scene, and use my imagination sort of, because most of this is all like practical effects. So it's a lot more moving lights and moving pieces than what we did last year.
Yeah, I hear we get to have a lot of like fun ghost scenes and really cool
Yeah.
special effects with that.
Yeah, so it's gonna-
looking forward to seeing that.
I'm going to have to navigate how exactly they want that done,
Yeah, so working with Shannon and Rochelle and
Yeah.
like seeing their vision basically and like working with that.
and then
so.
seeing what our stuff can do.
Yeah,
Like
for sure.
I've done it. I've done lighting enough for like chapel here that I have a pretty decent idea as what we can do, but there's always new stuff you can learn.
Yeah,
Just
for sure. Yeah.
make sure you're open-minded and all of that fun stuff. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Cool. Okay. Well, I think that just about wraps up our time today.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. So thank you again, guys, for tuning into this episode of Trailblazers. This is going to be posted on YouTube and Spotify if you are interested in watching and listening. And, well, last but not least, thank you for blazing those trails with us, and we'll see you on the other side.
See ya.